John Zorn is an American composer, conductor, and producer and saxophonist, and he says he deliberately resists being categorized. His work includes jazz, classical, blues, world, country, heavy metal, avant-garde versions of all of those things, and many more. He got involved in the New York experimental music scene in the 70s. He went to Japan for a while in the late 80s and early 90s. He established his own record label, Sadiq, when he came back, and he's been prolific through his life. He has a bewildering list of released albums and recordings and written compositions and collaborations with lots of people, but many groups that he's been in and led. Is one of the largest that I've seen. One of my favourite things that I heard was he has an album called Spy vs. Spy, which apparently features hardcore punk versions of Ornette Coleman compositions. And Ornette Coleman was a free jazz musician.
Hi, my name's Dan, and this is a review of the album Naked City by John Zorn. It was released in 1990, so it's technically it's credited to John Zorn, but although technically it could be credited to the band Naked City. So Naked City were the band that John Zorn put together for this album, and then over time, the same band released 10 albums. I don't know how many of them were under the Naked City name, or how many were under John Zorn. I haven't come across those. This is just some factoid that I found out about this. This is my first time listening to it. I have reviewed a John Zorn album before. That was nearly 3 years ago, and I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten who John Zorn was. I'd forgotten what kind of stuff it was. So when it came on, it gave me a surprise, which is, not an unpleasant surprise. I enjoyed it. So we've got jazz. This is my attempt to kind of describe what it's like stylistically. Jazz rock, funk, rock and roll, reggae, lounge jazz, experimental, noise, free jazz, and what might be free rock. Because it's kind of like free jazz, but in a more kind of rock area. It's a total head rush. It switches quite freely between total chaos and much more conventional music, often without seeming to lose any sweat over it at all. It just kind of clicks through. Either it's just been really well edited together, or they're incredible players. I mean, I think they're probably incredible players anyway. And then the other field that we've got that I haven't mentioned yet, sometimes a kind of atmospheric soundscape feel, which is a thing that I think is kind of broader, is not necessarily following chords or even, a tune or even a kind of regular beats. And it's, that kind of feel. 7 of the tracks are renditions of TV or film themes. So this includes the James Bond theme and Shot in the Dark and the Sicilian Clown. Occasional screamy, non-real worldy vocals, which I believe is by a Japanese guy. And the juxtaposition of this extreme free noise with the more straight stuff gives a really interesting contrast here. And unlike some stuff like free jazz stuff, you do understand that the skill involved here, not just chaos, because of the way that it's put together with other things. The other name of a musician that I know in this band is a guy called Fred Frith, who was the guitarist and perpetrator of an English band called Henry Cow. Thankfully, there is no Henry Cow on the list. I reviewed one of their albums once, and I was really not a fan. They were an extremely discordant prog adjacent stuff. So in Henry Cow is a guitarist. In this band, he plays bass. So what I was going to say, the recording is really clean sounds on the instruments, which again kind of emphasizes the punchiness of it. It's quite kind of not grrr, it's kind of pokey production. It's not a great description, I know. Unfortunately for me, then some of the most fun, most chaotic tracks are very, very short. So the shortest track is Hammerhead at 8 seconds long. And I feel the need when I'm selecting the clips for the start and the end of my reviews. Tend to feel the need to veer towards longer tracks, because that then means the proportion of the track that I'm using for my clips in percentage terms becomes smaller. And I feel I definitely can't use a full track. Again, I can't claim for copyright reasons that I haven't presented the full track if I do that. So, yeah, unfortunately, that means I can't give you an example that is one of the most extreme ones, which I would have loved to have done. Half of the tracks here, so there are 26 tracks, and half of them are under a minute long, which they're just real kind of bam, going to hit you in the face with whatever it is they're doing. And some of them are quite similar, but some of them are different from each other. It is, as you probably, again, really hard to categorize the extreme noisy stuff here, and some of it is the heaviest, noisiest stuff that I think I've ever come across. Might put some people off. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, partly because it just kept surprising me, and it kind of did my head in, but in a good way. So it's definitely odd and unusual. For some reason, it resonated with me. I liked it quite a lot, as you can see from the score and from the comments that I'm making. But that's just my opinion, and I'd love to know what you think of this album. So it may be that you haven't heard it. Yeah, I've given you forewarning now. If you go listen to it, you might not be as surprised as I was when I first listened to it. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are of the album, of this review, of my channel, of John Zorn, anything. Please talk to me. Do that through the comments. But that's it from me for now.